Here we go. I was going to like clean and make things look all neat and organized, but to be honest, that's not my real life and I don't really feel like doing it. But in general, this is like my raw, unedited house tour of plastic. Oops. So I'm gonna start in the kitchen. I feel like that's the easiest spot to start in terms of food, and I don't really know where to begin. Let's start with the fridge. I have two other roommates who have their own stuff, so I'm just gonna be showing my stuff. So here is my fridge that I have so far. I'm soaking some soybeans because I wanna try to do a little experiment with that later, but as you can see, mostly everything is stored in glass. I reused jars. This was like an old sauerkraut jar that I didn't take the label completely off of. And then I also have purchased some jars, like some glass jars and some, these are called Weck jars, and they seal these little metal things. Oh, I also have these glass lock containers. The top is made from plastic, but the bottom part is glass. Personally, I'm okay with that. I just don't really like plastic touching my stored food. Obviously down here I have my produce with my reusable produce bags. I will say in general, if a condiment does have a glass jar, I do try to buy it in glass. But I do have some things in plastic, like this hot sauce. I also made my own pickles a few weeks ago, and they're really good. And this is the almond milk I made this morning. We also have this drawer down here, and I would say this is where most of my plastic consumption comes from, both tofu and tempeh, because it is wrapped in plastic, and there's another plastic thing in it as well. And then I have like some tortillas. Obviously I'm not eating these during my challenge. The package like tofu and tempeh, as well as like salad greens and berries, are the things that I would normally buy. Oh, and vegan yogurt. Those are the things that I buy the most that come in plastic. And my freezer looks pretty much the same, honestly. It's a little messy. I would say my biggest plastic thing there is like buying frozen fruit and veggies that's wrapped in plastic. But for storing things in the freezer, I don't store things in glass. That kind of scares me. I'm afraid it's gonna crack. But we have a bunch of these reusable silicone bags. So technically these are made from plastic, but I think there are better alternatives because usually freezer Ziploc bags are like a one-time use, and these have a ton of uses, and they're freezer safe, microwave safe, I think, and like dishwasher safe, and they're BPA free. Okay, so now let's move on to the pantry. So I actually have two parts. This is the part that's actually in the kitchen. The top is pretty good. It's where I keep all my extra jars. I have some reusable straws and just like various nuts and seeds up there. And then the bottom is pretty good too. I just keep like powders. This is nutritional yeast and various vitamins, so those do come in plastic, but some of them actually do come in glass. And then I keep nut butters here. These are in glass. These do come in plastic, so I guess in the future I could be more mindful and try to just purchase nut butters that come in glass, or I can make my own as well. I do buy tea in bulk, so I have some ginger turmeric tea there, and there's some green tea behind there. Got some Brazil nuts. So like I have a greens powder that I like to drink and a protein powder that do come in plastic. There's some granola that's in a plastic bag. It's flour. And then these mushroom things are all like single serve plastic, so that's very bad. But I have switched to buying in bulk. I just have these left over. I'm trying to get through them. And I honestly have not bought tea bags in forever, but I am forcing myself to drink one of these like every day just because I want to get the tea bags out of my life. Also, an interesting fact is that tea bags aren't even recyclable for the most part. You would think that they are because they're made from like a papery material, but they're often lined with plastic, so you can't even recycle them. What type of fluke is that? Okay, so now we're moving on to our second pantry. Keep in mind, I am a full-time food blogger, so this is my job, so I do have a lot of food. You do not have to have this much food in your life, guys. Don't look. Okay, this is definitely my biggest plastic offense. These two shelves are mine. As you can see, there's a lot of freaking plastic and packaged products. I mean, the pasta does come in paper, and when I can, I do try to buy things in like glass, like the pasta sauce. I do have some bulk black rice back there, but I do have a lot of like plastic bags of quinoa and rice, but now I know that I can buy those in bulk, so I don't really need to buy these again. And then over here, I get a lot of things sent to me, and I also stock up on things, so I have various things in plastic. And then up here I have like energy bars, some chips, nuts. These are more like dessert things. This is like the extent of my processed food, guys. But then here, there's obviously more plastic. I got some like nuts and stuff, which I know now I can buy in bulk. I do have some glass jarred nut butters that go back there. And then like a lot of my flowers and stuff, I just buy in like these plastic bags. So I guess I should look for bulk options instead of the plastic itself. We do have most of our spices. We usually buy them in glass, and we have started to buy some in bulk or in like larger bags. I'm not gonna show you because it's just a boring spice cabinet, and it actually is a little intense too. But I do want to talk about cleaning. We do buy larger cartons of dish soap and like refill this thing, but we could totally buy our dish soap in bulk. But I also know a lot of people use sponges to clean their dishes, and my parents actually never did that growing up. I only did that in college. So I asked my roommates, Jasmine and Chris, if they would be open to not using sponges, and they were not. So this is what we do instead. I just did the dishes, so it's already wet, but basically we have these little rags, and we just use these to wash our dishes instead of sponges, and we just use one per day. We keep the extras in this little drawer here, and then once the day ends, we have a little cabinet down here where we put our dirty rags and towels. And in general, we also just try to use towels. It's kind of dark in there. To be honest, we also do have some emergency paper towels if there's like a weird spill, or if like their dog pees on the floor. I don't really want to use regular towel. But then in general, for multi-purpose cleaning, I do make my own cleaner. It's so easy to make your own cleaner. I actually do the same thing as Chloe. I just do 50% water, 50% vinegar, and then add some essential oils, usually like lavender, rosemary, or tea tree, because those are all naturally disinfecting as well. And then just put it in a glass spray bottle. So that is it for all the kitchen stuff. So I'm gonna go upstairs and show you my bathroom. I guess I'll quickly show you my bedroom too. Okay, here's my bedroom. Honestly, I don't even have a trash can in here, but I will say I do have natural and organic cotton sheets. They're by the brand Kuyuchi. I'll link them below. They're definitely an investment, but they are really high quality, and I do love them. So I would recommend them if you can afford them, but definitely not a necessity. And yeah, I also just have a lot of plans for like natural air fresheners. Still working on designing a few things. We just moved in here, but that's my room, no trash can. Ooh, since we're here, we'll talk about laundry too. We could definitely improve in the laundry room. We do buy our dish soap, or not dish soap, laundry detergent in plastic, so we could just refill that in a bulk bin. And I also use dryer sheets. I don't even think they're necessary. I know there are zero waste alternatives, but they often involve wool, which is not vegan. And now it is time for the bathroom. So to be honest, I think I do a pretty good job in the bathroom. I actually switched to using soap bars. This one's from Lush. It's supposed to be carrot. That's why it looks really weird. A while ago, instead of using hand soap, so I don't have to rebuy or refill anything. These also last a lot longer too. I do have a plastic cup, but to be honest, I just use that to water the plants that are in my room. I don't drink from it or anything. I don't make my own toothpaste, so I do buy toothpaste in plastic tubs. I want to try to make my own later this week, so I'm going to experiment with that. But then a lot of my skincare stuff, I have some up here, there's some more over there, and then I have this whole drawer down here. A lot of it does already come in glass, and I use all vegan natural skincare too. A cool thing about this company in particular, Franklin and Whitman, that I wanted to share with you guys, they have skin stuff and like body stuff and face serums. They repurpose their bottles so you can mail them back to the company, and they actually work with like a local glass person and turn them into these bowls, and I use these to make my face masks. So I thought that was pretty cool. I could make my own room freshener. I bought that when I first moved because, you know, sometimes you just take a poop and it smells bad and you don't know of any other options. But anyways, I literally just peed and I finished my toilet paper. So I actually use this awesome toilet paper by this company called Who Gives a Crap. It is, let's see, they have it on the thing. But their packaging itself doesn't have any plastic, which I think is super cool. And it's made of like recycled materials, and then they donate their profits to build toilets and for people in third world countries. And then I do have a trash bag. But actually it's not even a trash bag. It's actually a furniture bag from IKEA that I saved when I first moved in here. And I just empty my trash can and keep this plastic bag. So you can see here, it's the like IKEA stuff. Yeah, anyways, then in terms of like teeth stuff besides the toothpaste, I actually did just get a bamboo toothbrush like a week before this video. I've been looking into it because I used to use an electric toothbrush, but the head was really gross and the batteries died, so I figured it was finally time to switch to bamboo. This is awesome because the bamboo itself is compostable and you just pull the bristles out when you're finished using it. So the packaging itself comes in paper too, so I will link it below if you guys are curious. I got a 4-pack, so I know it'll last me for a while. I will say when I switched from an electric toothbrush to a regular toothbrush, I was a little wary about my teeth because, I don't know, I feel like an electric toothbrush is better and I'm lazy. And I've also always been terrible at flossing. And I realized floss creates waste for the environment too, because it's literally a string of plastic that you throw out like every day if you do it like you're supposed to. So I decided to buy myself a water pick. It was on sale on Amazon Prime Day, so it wasn't too much money, but this does a really good job. It's like flossing your teeth. It is technically like made of plastic, but I think it's better because this is supposed to last a long time, right? And it's better than throwing something out every day. I have a makeup drawer down here. Obviously, a lot of it is wrapped in plastic. I haven't been wearing makeup this week because I feel like that's not zero waste, but to be honest, I feel like making your own makeup is kind of weird. I've seen a few raw vegan tutorials about like using spirulina as mascara, and that's just too much for me. I'd rather just not wear makeup at all. But another thing is I hardly ever wear makeup, so the makeup that I have lasts me forever. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I don't need to buy eyeshadow for the rest of my life because I have so much. There's certain products I could probably make myself, like lip balm and stuff, but I also have a ton of those that I haven't used up yet. So let's move on to the shower. I got some eucalyptus over my shower head because I'm trendy AF and want it to be Instagram worthy. Just kidding. It's actually, I think, drying/dying. But in general with the shower, I'm pretty happy with the products that I use as well. Again, I switched to bar soap in the shower instead of like liquid soap because that does come in a plastic container. So this is, whoops, this is from Lush. It's very small. I'm almost out. But I also have this jar of Castile soap, which I know I could refill. I actually just had this in my shower because a guest was here and I rubbed the soap bar on my body and I didn't want them to rub the soap bar on their body. So it's a good option. You can also use this for other things. Apparently there's 18-in-1 uses. At least that's what it says. I don't know. And then for my shampoo and conditioner, this company is really cool. It's all natural and there's no like gross stuff in it. And the outer packaging is actually made from cardboard. And then when you open it up, there's actually a seed packet in it. And then you can plant a seed. There is a plastic bag in it though that I think you still have to throw out, but the bottles say that they use like 70% less plastic, so it's still not 100% waste free. But I think it's a cool alternative and I think it works really well. And then for my razor, I bought this razor on Thrive Market. It's made from recycled plastic, which is still not ideal, I know. And right after I bought it, I realized that there's such a thing called a safety razor. I'll put a picture on the screen. It's made from complete metal. So after this head goes kaput, I think I'm just gonna buy a safety razor. Also, I didn't mention, but we do use like old t-shirts and dirty towels as rags. We try not to use paper towels when we clean as well, and we just use that standard cleaning solution that was in the kitchen to clean our bathroom and stuff, and it actually works really well as like a Windex or window cleaner too. But I'm sitting down because you guys might be wondering, you know, I haven't really explained it, but I've been talking about like plastic throughout this whole week, and I never really talked about why plastic is bad. So what is the deal with plastic? The deal is that it sucks. I mean, if you think about it objectively, plastic has been a really kind of good thing, please don't kill me, but it makes foods a lot more convenient. And Americans, we're all about convenience and getting things as quickly as we can. And plastic allows like packaging so your food doesn't get damaged. It can help extend the shelf life of your food so people in areas who can't afford to get fresh produce or who live in food deserts who don't have access to fresh produce can still get like things that are wrapped in plastic. It kind of revolutionized like the packaging game, a bunch of other things. So plastic in and of itself isn't necessarily an evil invention, but the thing is that every single piece of plastic that has been created in all time, in all of our existence, still exists on this earth. So if you think about that, just like think about all the toothbrushes you've gone through, all the cartons of berries and salad greens and salad bags and takeout containers that you've used just in your life, all of those still exist somewhere in a landfill, which is kind of crazy to think about. I guess the biggest drawback of plastic is that it doesn't break down. We may not see it in our everyday lives, but sometimes if you go to the beach, you'll see plastic everywhere. And if you go to other countries, like I think Thailand in particular, the beaches are covered in plastic, but no one shows this in their vacation photos or anything like that. Actually, even when I went on vacation, I walked on the beach for 30 minutes. I got a huge bag of plastic, and there is literally a garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean full of plastic. It is twice the size of Texas, and the plastic pieces outnumber sea life 6-1. That is insane. I was also listening to a podcast the other day. It said that Americans make up 5% of the world's population, but we create 30% of the world's waste. Honestly, guys, there are a ton of facts that I could speak about plastic, but you can find them all through a quick Google search. And if you want to learn more, my friends Hannah and Evan actually have a really awesome podcast called Earth to Us. And they've done several episodes about being zero waste and food waste and a ton of other things. I know I can't cover every topic in this video as well, and I've learned a lot through them. So I'm going to link that below if you want to check it out. I would highly recommend it. Even if you don't care about the environmental aspects of plastic. My friend Monica works for a nonprofit called Non-Toxic Revolution, and she knows a lot about plastic, so she's actually going to be coming over later and telling me/you guys about plastic and why it stinks. It's been a few hours, and my friend Monica is now here.
Hi. Non-Toxic Revolution is a nonprofit program, part of a larger breast cancer nonprofit.
Okay.
And we educate on lowering your risk for cancer by lowering your exposure to daily toxins. So there are many other risks when it comes to cancer cases, but we focus on the environmental risk, which is about 90% of breast cancer cases.
Okay, so you don't just focus on plastic, like there are a ton of other things.
Yeah, there's lots of other things we focus on. What's in our products, what's in our food, what's in our cleaning products, body products, stress. Mostly we want people to be empowered to have things they can do in their everyday life.
Yes, that's important. So what is the deal with plastic then?
So we have a campaign called Plastic Sucks. We mostly focus on single-use plastic, but also we focus on food containers, water bottles. So we always recommend that people like use glass or ceramics or another type of food container that doesn't have toxins.
Yes.
To store food, to drink water, coffee, to eat with. When it comes to plastic and food, those chemicals that are in plastic bottles and food containers will leach into our food over time or with temperature change. We never know where water bottles are stored or if we have them in our car and they get warm, like BPA, phthalates, things that are linked to cancer, hormone mimicking, premature death of cells, accelerating type chemicals will leach into our water and food, and we don't want to be consuming that stuff.
So is it like single-use plastic in particular, like water bottles, or is it still like plastic Tupperware and those like cheap, like colorful plastic water bottles too that people use over time?
Yeah, over time is the thing. Like it's the over time exposure and the temperature change, which is a huge one. So as they heat up, that stuff will leach into the water if we're talking about water bottles or food containers, especially like microwaving. Even if it's microwave safe plastic, it's still not really safe.
And we were actually talking like last week, I think, about BPA cans, and you were saying that just because something's non-BPA doesn't mean it's better.
Well, yeah, there's, that BPA free is definitely like a marketing.
To be honest,
I
didn't even know what BPA was. I was just like, oh, if it's BPA free, I'm gonna get that instead.
Bisphenol A is what it is, and that's one of the hormone mimicking chemicals that can mimic estrogen and contribute to cancer. But it's one of those things where they're trying to get it out, which is awesome, but also the alternative, we're not sure if that's less toxic. So, I mean, I try to avoid canned foods if I can.
So at the end of the day, though, I think you guys are about like spreading awareness, so it's not like you can never eat out of a can again.
Yeah, no, it's not like that at all. It's just like what I tell people is to start with things you do every single day. So when it comes to like body care, we talk about deodorant, we talk about toothpaste, things that we use on a daily basis because the like prolonged exposure are the things that are kind of most dangerous. So if you drink out of a plastic water bottle every day, just like cut that out. Get like a reusable water bottle. Yeah, exactly. So don't worry so much about like every single thing can't be this or that. It's just like kind of being prepared and cutting it out mostly, and then those little times that you have to use it, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, don't stress about it.
Don't
It's
stress.
okay.
Yeah, you're
already doing so much.
Yeah, you're not going to get sick because you use plastic every once in a while. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just kind of trying to empower people to be able to use safer alternatives.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. I'm eating another toasted everything bagel with avocado, and I added dill this time. As I'm filming this series, I realized that I'm going to need to make a lot more videos than I originally intended. I'm going to talk more about food things. I want to do some experimenting in the kitchen. I want to show like zero waste alternatives, good stuff like that. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far, and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye.